Cool. This is another debrief with the DB Hammer project, and we are on week 5 in total. But we are on what do you want to say, like cycle or phase 2?
Just cycle 2, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, we're on cycle 2, day 1 right now. Today, that's what we did. Yeah. So today was lower body. Do we want to go through first the workout, and then we can go how we connected it?
Yeah. So back to the frequency as opposed to the toleration. So drop offs were set at 5%. Sprints were instead of 8 from the transition or the what do we call it, toleration cycle. We had 5% drop off or up to 5 total sprints. And Evie had a hell of a day on these sprints. I mean, breaking some ground and a lot of things.
Definitely.
But yeah, back to the frequency cycle. So 4 days a week, upper lower splits, if you just want to call it that. And then we'll do this for the next 3 weeks. But yeah, Evie, go ahead. So take it from the top there. With
so after the warm up.
Big day.
Yeah, our first.
I'm psyched up from.
Yeah, I am too. It was good. It was good. Some cool stuff too. And first we got explosive block. We did drop lunge starts, which was our constraint drill. And then we went to the regular 20-yard dash.
So nothing's changed in terms of the explosive block. We're still doing the same, the drill sprint, as I call it.
Yep.
Contrasted with the live sprint.
And we got 5 total sprints in. My best of the day was
5 time sprints, so 10 actual total with the drill.
Yes. So 3.248 was my best, tied with my personal best for the 20-yard total. So that's good. We're getting to those lower end ranges on the 3.2s, and hopefully eventually. And it's a slower process. We like to.
But how many times were you in the 3.2s today?
3 out of 5,
which you've never done before.
Yeah, so that was good.
So raising or pulling the floor.
Pulling the floor. So that was good. That's tied with my personal best in the last 4 weeks. Yeah. So on this program, that's tied with my personal best. And then my 10-yard fly was 1.365.
Was that it?
That was good, but it wasn't my best.
Okay.
But that was a good one. And then my 10.
And we were in there 4. It looks like 4 out of the 5 sprints were in the fly 10 portion. Yeah. So again, I use the Arena Gates gear for a 20-yard dash, and we're extrapolating a 10 into 10 fly, a 10-yard dash, and obviously a 20. It looks like you were in there 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 sprints, and then the other one was a 1.4 low. Yeah. And then those 3 sprints that were in the 3.2s, what I asked was, where was the 10-yard dash? And those were all in a 1.8s, and we've been having trouble. Was that your best 1.8 there, or the best tied with your?
Again, so.
Yeah, but we did it 3 times. Having her 10-yard dash in a 1.8s for Evie, that's pretty good because she was 2.0s, 1.9s, 2.0s, 1.9s around there. Yeah, so what my thought process behind that is, she's starting the effect of the drop in lunge start drill there off the box is
one of my better averages.
She's starting the brain is starting, or the body's starting to catch up with the brain.
That's one of my better averages too.
1.9 something, everything. Yeah, it was sub 2. But yeah, it was again, it was the magnitude style day. So then we had moved on to.
Yeah. So that we got 5.
What do we move on to? I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah. So then we went to back squat and split drop jumps. But first, before that, we did our warm up sets with the back squat.
Oh, that's right.
And then we paired those with
jumps, dumbbell jump. And again, not changing the wave there. She did 3 sets of 3 with 13 pounds of hay, and we use fat bells here because that's what we have most convenient to us as opposed to dumbbells. Then she had forgotten to do the vertical jumps, or I forgot to write it either way. But either way, she still did 6 of them, and she topped out at 20, which she's been struggling to hit.
Yeah, I've been struggling during sessions to hit that. I think I get fatigued because I've done it without, during my sessions, and I've hit 21. But now during the session, I'm getting closer to my top because I'm consistently at the 18s. But here, I only got 118.
118. The rest are above 19 above. Yeah, so that's really again, good. A big day where we're pulling the floor.
Definitely. Yeah. So we did 95 pounds on the back squat, and we did 13-pound jumps. Then we went to body weight jumps and did that total 3 times. So yeah, that's our warm up set, part 2 of explosive block, if you want to say.
It's kind of like meshing in the explosive block in this case. I don't do it all the time with people, but in this case, kind of meshing it in with the first work set of the strength block. Which case, we did, again, oscillatory squats, 3 oscillations plus 1 rep, but I went down from 5 reps to 3 reps. And in this case, in this particular block, we had worked up to what was essentially going to be a 0.65 and then tack on a little bit more weight. So that weight for Evie today ended up being 135. And she smoked it on the, you could tell it was working her. Yeah. And she picked it up on the last set. In between that, we were doing the split drop jumps from 24 inches. So taking her vertical jump, her best vertical jump of the day was 20. So I added 20% to that. What is that? That's 24, even, right? And you can kind of guesstimate, like if it was like 19.8, we would call it 20.
Right.
You know, if it was 24, we would call it, or 23.6, we would call it like 24 or something like that. Right. So in this case, with that split drop jump, she is just essentially dropping off the boxes and catching herself in the split position. We're looking at it as quick, quiet, what I call quick, quiet, and deadly, like a ninja, and seeing where it's requiring a lot of instantaneous stability. They call it, some people call it force absorption or withstanding force. Either way, it's that instantaneous eccentric. What I'm looking at there is for the body to catch, hold, and stabilize. If you get a little like boom, like this, a little bounce out, that's a good thing. If there's any type of sinking or whatever else, you just need to keep working on that box height or go down until that happens.
Right. Yeah, so then after that, we did the box squat with the split drop jumps every 2 minutes, on the 2 minutes, because it's both a little more taxing.
Yes.
And again, we did that at 135 all sets, and hit 0.77
right.
bar speed, even though 0.65 was the drop off.
0.65 was the drop off, but that's what off of our initial, and then after that we're gonna 135 is gonna be our number. So on the actual sheet, what I have for this wave is we are gonna track the bar speed. And essentially we're gonna call what she did today 65%. Next week she's gonna go 70% no matter what, and the week after that, third week 75%. And all we're doing there, as I explained to Evie, what do those percentages look like? Well, from Jim Wendler's 5-through-1, the first set last protocol. Then also, if you kind of dig deeper, I know this is a rabbit hole for a lot of you people, but look at Matt Rhea's research. It kind of falls, those percentages fall within his
what did you say the percentage?
65, 70, 75 waved out so week 1, week 2, week 3. All right. So anyways, Matt Rhea had a study put out where peak power, I guess, is found. And it's between, I think, 62.5 or 63 to like 74%, something like that. I could be wrong, or it could be 76%. In either case, I just saw some overlap there, and I'm thinking like, well, if that's where peak power is, why don't we use that load essentially as an event, right? Just like a sprint. So today's 65% day, next day 70% day, and 75%. Maximal or sub-maximal, so not undoable for any type of experienced athlete. But I guess the variable would be how fast we're moving the bar. And in this case, it's, we got an oscillatory rep, so it's a little bit different, but still the effort to move the bar every single time, boom, boom, boom. And we did triples with it. So certainly triples at 65, 70, 75% doesn't seem like much, but when you're trying to accelerate that bar, change direction with the oscillatory, then try to move it fast, it becomes, you heighten the intensity with that. So I think what we're going to do, I'm just going to keep that in there and see where it goes. So every week she'll have, we'll add 5% more essentially to the bar next week, and then 5% more after that. We're just going to kind of keep that in there to see where it's, just kind of see what happens. So it's kind of along the lines of what I learned from Derek Evely is you're not wave loading volume and intensity, but you're tracking essentially how well you move the prescribed load. In this case, can we use auto regulation? Sure. So we'll say, you can use the same drop off, right? 5% of the bar speed. If it starts to drop below that, then boom, we cut the sets.
Yeah. And also something I noticed too, I PR'd 17.2 for the 13.
There you go.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
So that was the main block right there. It took about.
So plenty of chances to win here, just like in the conjugate principles. So that's why it was a big day. We stacked win on top of win today.
Literally.
Yeah.
Lots of wins.
A lot of
That was
confidence
good.
building within this.
Yeah, that was really good. And again, I'm adjusting to these movements.
Mm-hmm.
So which was
And all it is different variations of them. So again, we all on the squat, the only thing we varied was 5 down to 3. Kept everything else the same. Then here's where we did vary stuff a little bit. So if Evie wants to track back maybe to the first block and see what we did differently there.
Yeah, for the.
So I know we did okay, I kind of got an idea. So it was a single leg. We did like a split squat, some form of split squat, some form of hamstring, short lever, so with the knee bent.
I got you. So we did glute ham raise,
Mm-hmm.
front foot elevated lunge, and trampoline hell.
Okay, trampoline hell. All right, so trampoline hell took out. I'm actually have that on the other day, and I think we're gonna do a single leg version of it. Won't it'll be similar, but it won't be quite what she was doing before with oscillating and then jumping a number of reps and then doing again and jumping a number of reps. Be more shorter duration. But anyway, the two things we kept in there were the glute ham.
Yep.
And then the front foot elevated
single leg type
lunge,
work,
right?
Yeah.
So in those protocols, we did number of oscillations into a number of full reps, and then number of oscillations into like one less full rep.
And now this, yeah.
In this case, we used the flywheel for the split squat, and we were simply just doing 10 seconds, boom, as much output as she could. We used the lighter wheel there on the Kratos. I think it's either the medium or the small. I have to double check that, but anyway, it wasn't the bigger wheel. And we were looking at how many reps you can get in that time. And I think the first set, she got like 10 or 11. She topped out at 13 and started to slow back down to like 11 or 12, which is fine. You can use a drop-off percentage, but with that, I'm just eyeballing. And we did up to 5 sets. So it's left leg and right leg. It's really 10 sets if you look at it that way. And then the glute ham raise was just a straight oscillatory isometric, but what I call hockey glute ham raise. So the hockey glute ham raise, and you guys will see on the videos, she's holding the isometric portion of the glute ham, and then I'm pulsing her, almost like checking her. Boom, like that's why I call it hockey, right? So she's trying to maintain position as I pulse her through. Now there's going to be a little give and then a bounce out. So what you're trying to do is work the tissues reflexively. And I think it was the first or second set where I pushed her, and then I let her go, and then she bounced almost off the machine. She goes, "Whoa, I bounced right off of there." Well, that's kind of, if you look at it, for sprinting or speed work or any type of reflexive or elastic, right? Trying to make people elastic. I guess, this is an inference of this is how you can kind of do it. But you would sustain that over time. The fact that she can do that for 10 seconds shows that she's able to sustain that involuntary effort for a extended period of time, as opposed to, the classic energy system, the creatine phosphate system, where you would last, in 0 to 5 or 6 seconds if you're lucky. In this case, it was 10, and she bounced right out. Probably had a few more seconds left in her. So, driving work capacity.
And then we ended with the single leg lying knee lifts on the flywheel,
which you loved,
yeah.
So a lot of flywheel work today. Look, a lot of it only because we can essentially accentuate the eccentric without having to load with impact or load on the spine, and use, in essence, almost like a specialized strength training exercise. For the split squats, we use the belt squat. I don't see that as specialized, other than we use the split squat. Yeah. In the case of the lying knee lift, it's somewhat specialized strength training in the light of, in the light that Yesus would put, where it's, the dynamic correspondence end of it, right, where it kind of looks like a sporting movement. You're involving the magnitude and the range of motion and muscular actions of such, and that's why we chose that there. Put the flywheel on, and even with the light flywheel, she was struggling. We took that down to 20 seconds. Like that was not easy at all. But
we did 20 seconds.
Yeah, because remember, it was like 10 seconds. You're getting like 3 reps. Didn't really, So we just said 20 seconds. You're getting a little bit, 6 or 8 or whatever it was.
I got like 8 to 10.
Yep. But with that exercise, the way we're doing that lying knee lift, we're also doing like a mini glute bridge with it. So as the other leg is, the hip flexors resisted, and you're driving the knee up. I like doing that variation. So if we look at that, that's what are we doing there, folks? Is we're revisiting the cross crawl pattern, right? Yeah. Or we're putting some resistance on it. So a little bit of all types of reasoning why I put those in that session. I thought it flowed. I mean, it took a couple hours just because it took a couple hours.
Well, we also like this was our first time doing this one.
Right. So you got to get ingrained with it. Once you get ingrained with it, and like I said, even the slightest variation. We took a couple of practice sets here and there, so that probably took up some time and some explanation and me just kind of explaining things of why this is there, why that is there, why this works, and how this is supposed to work. If we think about, a lot of Evie's internship here is not just, we're not just working out to work out and exposing her to different stuff. It's, I'm putting this thing together so she can draw parallels to what actually happens in sport, or for her own coaching practice and not everybody's going to be able to, put it this way, the program she's doing, not everybody's going to qualify for, nor be physically prepared for, but at least she's going to the extremes. As Donnie Thompson would say, you're going to find some answers there in the extremes. So she's going to the extremes of her ability in this case, and then you're going to learn some things in those extremes. So we're definitely not putting fucking somebody in bubble wrap, or have a massage table in the middle of our gym, or do all these, rehabby PT type exercises. I mean,
we're getting work done.
Nothing wrong with PT, but it usually means that you're injured. If you're doing PT stuff and you're not injured, you're just fucking soft. Sorry.
And you could look at our other video, how to battle softness. We went over that.
Do some hard shit.
Yeah, we are definitely working hard. It was a great workout overall.
Yeah.
But again, I was asking Pete, so how did he program from the last 3 to 4 weeks?
Yep.
Let's not include a toleration cycle. How did he program for the 3 weeks to now what we're going to do the next 3 weeks?
So again, what we're going to do the next 3 weeks, I don't know. We're going to see how stuff goes. But the only thing I did was with these little variations and changes. Like I said, there wasn't much in terms of the movements themselves. I just made it more for Evie. How could we push a little bit closer to that velocity end? And not to mention, like, here's a big thing, right? We were doing oscillatory squats with 3 oscillations plus 1 rep for a 5 rep set. Now we're down to 3. Nothing more than that initial phase to build some work capacity. So these 3s are ultra snappy. Right. And they were today. They were pretty good. Yeah, so we chopped it down to 3. The rep quality was better, and then we were able to go fast. So that was my thinking with that. In terms of the drop jumps, instead of doing some sort of concentric jump, I just think in order for her to become faster, we need a little bit more work on that eccentric end. So we need to amplify that eccentric end a little bit, hence the split drop jumps, right?
Yep.
And then like, I guess, the accessory block, the use of the flywheel. And again, this being the DB Hammer project, I want to say, I'm forgetting what part I read it in, but he had referenced some of his methodics being much like doing stuff with a flywheel. So I'm thinking like, well, I got a flywheel, why not use it and see what happens? So in this case, again, it's kind of, the flywheel stuff is great because it's like plyometric without impact, especially when you're trying to move that stuff for time. You've got a conditioning component as well. So we're gonna see how.
It was fun. I really like the flywheel split squat and the hockey ham raise superset because the legs were pumped.
And it's not. And she's using that bodybuilding term, pumped, but we weren't doing any type of bodybuilding stuff. It was all for time. It was all very reflexive. But again, that tells me if she was pumped from that. Okay, she hasn't quite. Usually that delayed onset muscle soreness or that immediate onset muscle soreness or whatever at work means you have not calloused to that work because you've never done it. So as we do it, she's going to become more callous to it. And when you become callous to it, what happens? Adaptation occurs. Yep. So sometimes we can use soreness as a proxy for are they adapted or not. That's why you really don't want to change exercises in season, because even that small change of exercise can make someone sore. And of course, a lot of these people out here, I don't need to be sore for the game or whatever. It's like, dude, if you're recovering the right way, you probably, well, 1, you shouldn't be doing anything of some egregious volume to get you sore. 2, if you're sore after in like a real in-season workout, like check your fucking sleep, check your nutrition. Are you doing your mobility work or whatever? Are you doing your restorative work? And I know practices and shit can go, you're in swim or soccer or whatever else, whatever. I mean, you know what you sign up for. And I know those practices can go long, but you have to do something to hit the restorative end. And if you're doing in-season training right, yeah, you're not gonna do anything out of familiarity. It's gonna be more boring than it is exciting. But with that said, you still can train it hard and not get sore. So for us, it's just if we look at everything we did, huge eccentric component to it, probably a little bit more than last time, last cycle, but last cycle prepared her. So this eccentric component, she'll probably get over it within a week. That's just a guess. It may or may not happen. I'm not a guru, but I'm just from my line of thinking, from putting together the first cycle to now, it's again to prepare you for cycle to cycle, and also see what's working and see what's not working in terms of her major metrics. And something had to work because she had a big day on the sprints and jumps. So something's sticking there, and it's just we were talking before about gains in speed and power. It's the progress is never linear.
Never.
It's like this because it's so neurally based. But again, if we can, like today, it looks like we had a huge pull of the floor, so that foundation comes up more, and you can build even more on top of it. So that's kind of like my, I guess, a general outlook on cycle to cycle, my thought process. Again, I think most people that put together programs just throw some loading parameters on there and say you can gain X amount of strength in this time, or X amount of jump height in this time. Which is great, but you don't take into account of kind of tracking where that adaptation comes from, and that takes some time as a coach. That takes an eye and seeing how your athletes behave.
And even like exercise selection, like you said, I really like the thought process of one cycle leading to the other and slight variations. So we're keeping the same foundation, but we're changing it very slightly to create that adaptation. And that's something as a coach that I've learned more recently in the last few months is now, okay, when I'm programming like my softball team, this first exercise I choose for the first like 3-4 week cycle, whatever, it's leading into literally the 12-week cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like we are building off of that, and that's what I really have.
Essentially, that would be reverse engineering. Essentially, and it doesn't even go up to the preseason, right? Your reverse engineer is championship game at the end of the year.
Yep.
And then what are you doing leading up to that? Literally in the gym on. And if you're doing it right, if you're looking at it from that standpoint. So you're looking at it from like you're kind of using the in season for these team sports.
Yeah.
It's almost like little micro doses of a peaking cycle, right? Because you're not doing a whole lot of volume. And some of these things, especially with an outdoor sport like softball, football, probably more so softball, because football you have one game a week and you know when that's going to be. Softball, you might have a bunch of games during the week, rain, snow, whatever gets in the way, and then you may have to pull a doubleheader on a week. So, but it's like, oh shit, we got to get our lift in. Really? Maybe, maybe not. Or now maybe that stimulatory lift becomes like we can't get that lift in before, but we're going to get the lift in the following day, bump it up, bump everything up a week. Now you may do a restorative day, like a long duration ISO, and then you can kind of plan your other stuffs. But you already got to know pre-planned of when A happens, I will respond with B. But like I said, micro doses of a peaking plan. You're still going to go with some core lifts, I'm sure. You're still going to sprint, still going to jump, still going to throw. The volumes may not be that big, and then you're not trying to induce a huge amount of eccentric stress, most likely. So trap bar deadlifts, box squats, stuff like that. Your jumps will probably be like box jumps, step off, long jumps, single effort, boom, walk back, stuff like that. But all the stuff you do up to then, you may have repeat efforts. You may do eccentric, accentuated stuff. You may do isometrics with pauses before that. So now that you're doing in that in season is a whole lot easier because you've already learned position. Yep. You've built a callus to the movement. You got some muscle on you. You got some conditioning. Now it's just literally.
And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
We're doing ISOs. Yeah. We're on week 4 or 5, something like that. We're doing a lot. We did a lot of ISOs. I still am doing ISOs with them, but I'm changing the movement. So I went from split squat to rear foot elevated split squat.
There you go.
So, and I'm doing the same like kind of wave cycle that you said, 3 sets of 10, 6, 7, 8. And then now after that, I think I'm gonna put more strength work without the isometric now,
Mm-hmm.
since now we got
Yep.
used to those positions.
And you can learn to transition in, because then you got your fall ball, you got your winter stuff
Right.
coming up, which you'll cut down in practice hours, so it's a good time to kind of build
We
back
can,
up.
yeah, I was about to say we can kind of push
Yeah.
it in the weight
So
room
you
now,
yeah
and
you
we're going 3 days a week now.
there you go. So there you
Starting
go.
next week.
Even just that extra day will
Yeah.
will add to the overall, because you got to add, when you add volume, it's not just per day, it's per week, it's per month,
Mhm.
for that amount of
So
time.
they've been doing 2 weeks for 4 weeks now. Now we're gonna go to 3 days per week.
Cool. And then for how long is that cycle going
We
to
got
last?
that
Probably
till
like 2 months, 3 months.
beginning of December or middle of December. So that's what we got.
Yeah, so there you go. Now she'll have that all pre-planned, 3 days a
Yeah.
week, and then you won't have, practice kind of interfering with that. So everything it'll churn over like clockwork, and then she can definitely get some good metrics on these girls. And obviously for softball, your typical jumps and sprints will be great. You can even track throws if you want, like pullover throws, like we've been doing. As if you have, you guys probably have
No,
radar
we
guns,
don't
don't
do
you?
that.
You don't have radar guns even for your team?
No. I mean,
Holy
maybe
fuck!
we do. I might, but I think she.
See if the baseball and softball teams got radar
Yeah,
guns,
I'll
because you
check
can
it
just
out.
bring them in the weight
I'll check
room
it out. But
and
we
then throw
usually
it up
always
against
do
the wall.
broad jumps, and
There
then
you
you
go.
know how I brought the mat, the
Mm-hmm.
vertical jump mat.
Yep.
I'll just bring that out maybe another in a few weeks just to get numbers again, because we got numbers from that day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you don't mind.
Either that or call Simply Faster, see if they hook you up with a
Simply
jump mat.
faster. Oh my god, that'd be. Yeah, what are they? How much are they? 700.
Something like that. Just
Yeah.
got to write some articles. You
Yeah,
got to
you're
write
right.
7,000, I think 7,000 words to
Oh,
get
7,000.
10 cents 10 cents a word, I think, in trade. So that's where I got a lot of my stuff. A little
All right,
secret.
cool.
Simply Faster pays you. But anyway,
Yeah, good day. Good day, DB Hammer Project. Cycle 2, week 1 of
yep,
cycle 2, but if we want to say in total, we're in week 5, day 1.
yep.
And yeah, we're seeing improvements again.
Mm-hmm.
Speed is not linear, and I've learned this the hard way. It's not linear, so I'm not getting beat up. Like, I need to keep being excited and taking these small wins, because I am seeing wins and feeling differences when I
Yeah.
sprint. Hamstring annoyance gone.
Gone.
I can feel the separation. I think we talked about that in the other video.
What do you mean by the separate?
With
Oh,
the
like the
wickets and stuff.
okay, like
I'm
she,
driving
what
that
she
up
means
more.
is the split between her thighs
Yeah, so
when
I
she
can
runs. So
feel
if you
that.
look from the side, you're looking for a bigger split, which means for us, if she's feeling that, that's great. But it's probably resulting in more better sprint economy in terms of you're covering more ground per step. So that's where that comes in, right? There's frequency, and then there's what would it
This thing? Or no?
frequency, and then why am I forgetting
I
this
know,
term?
I know exactly what you're
Damn
talking
it.
about.
But anyway, the two ways to get faster, get faster turnover, or more space between, cover the ground in less strides, essentially. And
It's
then
frequency and strides, I think, right?
stride length.
Stride length.
Why
yeah.
did I
stride
freaking
length.
stride
Yeah.
length? Oh my god. But
I know
you can
exactly
even
what you were talking about.
you can
yeah.
even have fun. So what I've done with like the soccer girls is I'll count their steps, and then I'll look over their time, and then now in my head I have okay, this one did it in 13 steps. It's probably 3-4 something, or whatever the heck. It could be whatever, but have fun with that, and then you can kind of see where like this one may need more turnover. Like if you got one that's less steps, but she's getting stuck in the ground, more turnover. Or if it's someone whose frequency and then it's a slow run, it's probably like you need more stride length. So AKA probably strength, push off, whatever else.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, definitely have an eye out. I'm going to put this program out here as it goes. I'm literally writing it as we do it and putting it in print form for you guys. And then it's going to be a pretty big project. And each time we'll have a presentation of at least her results. So again, it's a case study type program, but
Right.
We'll have it out there for sale.
I would say, yeah, even just learning off of it is,
Yeah.
I'm learning so much as we go through this. So even just learning off of it, going through the program, looking at what we've done and the results, you can definitely learn a lot of things, especially if either you don't have access to the DB Hammer book or you can't digest it that well. This is putting it into terms and using conjugate as well, which I really like. I've read his book, and obviously I've worked with him for so long now that I'm Pete's stuff works. It works.
She's in great. Yeah. So what she's referring to is the principle based approach. So what I did was I wrote a book on principles. I'm now coming out with one that's kind of like a pro, and all of my programs are based off of all these principles. The reason why I separated them is just so you can see the thought process of the why, and then the how and what later on. But
and it's super simple. It's super simple in the
Mhm.
way, and it's really good. I've learned a lot from Pete's program and implementing as we speak into other programs that I'm working with on other people, like my softball team.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of this internship is for you to learn, because it's like I can learn her the ins and outs of exactly what I do. Thing is, she's not going to be able to probably apply that in an exact way to wherever the hell she's going to go. But what she can do is now draw what we were talking about, all of the crossover material. Like, oh, I can do this there, I can do that there, I can do this with that team, or I can do that with that team. Here are the metrics that are going to be important with this team. Here's the ones to be important with that. And using those principles and those guidelines, and of course, just general good practices. Most people don't know what the fuck these are these days, but general practice. I'm an old school guy, so I still believe in things got to get done a certain way. If you guys just want to, dance around the gym and do all that stuff and have the epic birthday party workouts, so be it. For me, most of your good training days aren't really going to be that. It's just the way it is. You might have one where you, like today, big groundbreaking day in a lot of ways. She's probably going to be due for more, but it's not like we're trying to environmentally drive that, right? We're not getting like overly psyched up. We're not having like lights in a disco fucking hall. This is a fucking training hall, and that's what we do.
Yeah. All right, cool. That was good. Yeah. All right, work hard always.
Rant hard always. Do your stuff.
No, exactly.
Like your branding or whatever the heck you want to call it.
While you're doing it, while I'm doing it. Yeah. All right. So we can go over Tuesday and today. Okay. So both of the upper body days.
Both of the upper body.
All right. So here we go. DB Hammer debrief. We're on cycle 2, week 5 in total. Days 2 and 4 is what we're going over right now. So let me go to days 2. All right. So what we did right here. We did Rhino bar bench press and the pullover throws, which was the explosive block to start it off. And yeah, we did time sets, 5 sets of 3.
We're gonna go right into the sets.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to talk about?
No, I was just gonna so debrief the throws. Tops of 30, and that was with what ball? 4-pounder.
Yeah.
So we're gonna batch in. There's not a whole lot of upper body metrics that you can do unless you have something like a Proteus or something like that, which then it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, no, it's a great tool, I'm sure, but let's say if you don't have, most people aren't going to have access to that.
Proteus, yeah.
So you can do the, different types of upper body oriented throws. The one that we're choosing is just a double overhand. And again, everybody's might criticize, well, that's not, why don't you do a plyo ball type thing? It's like, look, it's just, we're looking for a general throw, a general measure of progress. And for me, the lying overhead throws just as good as any.
Yeah.
But we'll batch it in with the warm-up sets, or the work-up sets, rather. I don't like that word, warm-up. Fucking bullshit. But anyway, batch it in with the prep sets there on the bench press. The tops of 30, average of what, 27.6?
Yeah.
I don't know where that compares to last time, but
I don't think as well. I think that day I was a little fatigued, honestly.
This week?
That day specifically.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was, but 44.
44?
4:33 was my best.
All right.
Oh, average was about the same, about one off, 28.9.
There you go. So the average
was about there, but
close.
Overall I was a little.
Yeah, so a little under, but I mean, we're waving those balls through, so it was only our second opportunity really to.
It was a training in the evening too.
Yeah, it was a different time. She's used to like midday morning, which, time of day, and that's maybe my point of note. Time of day will affect your outputs depending on what you're used to. Everybody, all the studies come out, and the afternoon's bench for strength and this, that, and the other thing. I get it. Sometimes it's whatever it's optimal, but it will have an effect on neural stuff. It's just the way it is, but you just train through it. All right, then we went back with the Rhino bar, and again, much like we did with the squat, oscillatory, 3 oscillations or bottom bounces into a rep for 3 reps. And we were, instead of using the bar speed thing, similar concept where we're using that 65% as our metric or our event test exercise. And I had the stopwatch on it. So I would just start it as soon as she lowered the bar, and then when she locked out the last rep, she hit her second set there was sub 5, I think at 4.9 something. I can't even read.
4.97.
4.97, it appears. But then I did a further breakdown of the actual percents of that best.
Yeah, can you go through why you did that too? I wanted to know.
Why I did it?
Yeah.
Like so basically, it's just another way to calculate drop off, right? So initially she used a different technique on the first set, where she came down, stopped, and then did her oscillations, and then went. So she was a 5.56. So I got to kind of throw that out because the technique wasn't the same.
Right.
But nonetheless, that one was about 89% of her best, which was her next set. Now, after that, so if we just go in apples to apples, if that 4.97 is 100, next set was at 98, the next set was at 94%, and then the next one was at 98% as well. Yeah, it was the other one. So she was able to kind of stay within that 6% drop off as per.
I think that's 94 actually.
94%?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
maybe it was 94.
Yeah.
All right. So either way, she was still within that 6% drop off. So with that, that's actually looks like a perfect layout because 497, 506, 98%, dropped 6%, but gave her another opportunity to make it up. She dropped 6% again. Either way, we would have ceased sets because that was her fifth one. Now, if we were to keep going, we would have stopped anyway.
Right.
If she would have performed faster or better, then we would have kept going conceivably in the practice of the DB hammer with the drop off. So again, auto regulation will determine that volume, and we were able to get essentially 15 reps in. If she didn't use that weird technique on the first one, who knows what that would have been?
Right.
I don't know why she did that at that point in time. You can ask her. I forgot.
I forgot about that.
If you're an adult human being, I forgot is no longer an amiable excuse.
I just forgot.
You had a brain fart. That's a better, more entertaining answer. Anyways,
and we paired that with the sand dune.
Oh yeah, the drops.
Sand dune
How'd you
drops.
like that?
I really like those on I liked it when we did the partner assisted.
Okay. Because we did kind of like all three variations. The first one you just did kneeling, and then you were like, that wasn't hard, and then I pushed her.
Those were good.
Down for like 2 or 3 sets. 3 sets,
and then we did
last one.
Was
she did it from the standing, and then you gradually got, and those are all essentially progressions of the speed of the eccentric. Not that we're overly too concerned about getting too fancy there, but I mean, if she's able to do it, challenge her. So now the challenge would be on that. The next time we do that is to do maybe an extra set standing, or maybe all of the first 2 or 3 sets
push
with the push with push.
I definitely like those. These I felt really good with. The standing one, I felt like there was a rep or two where I didn't fully absorb.
Yeah, so, it'll teach you. It'll teach you because if you don't absorb, you're gonna fall flat on your face.
Yeah, well, I didn't absorb as quick as I would have liked to.
No, that's okay though. But that's fine because then what you do is it's kind of like that learn by failing. You fail, you get closer and closer, and then bam, all of a sudden you stick 1, then you stick 2, then you stick 3. So a lot of that is like, if you look at it, that is the quintessential learning of a skill. Because really, it's more. Is it strength to a certain extent? Sure. Is it turning on your strength at a certain time? Yes. So looking at timing, which then brings us into coordination as well. So strength training in that case. Obviously, it's a specialized strength.
Right.
There's a coordination component to it all, and then when it's something fast like that, the only way you can learn is by screwing it up more and more times, because then you'll get it.
Yep.
And obviously, don't go to the point where she's breaking her nose or anything. That's just stupid. But she wasn't even close to that. But anyways, paired those off. I think we did those 3 reps.
Yeah, 3 reps.
So 3 and 3 on the 90. So do the math on that. Right on the 90.
So that's 3 times 5, which is 15 minutes.
Yeah, about 15 minutes set there.
Yep, and then we went to the accessory block every 92, and we did the dumbbell fly oscillations.
So we did 10 oscillations and then into 10 actual full reps. How'd you like that?
Yeah, I like those. I was actually sore today from that.
Oh, the flies. Okay.
Yeah.
So pec and shoulder girdle oriented. So dumbbell flies. That's such a bro lift or a bodybuilding lift. Yeah, it is, but also with a thrower Especially she's a catcher, so she doesn't pitch in softball where it's just pure one arm slot. She may have to come from different arm slots.
Yeah.
So that pec slot going across here, it's just a good kind of, it's like a between arm slot. Obviously most of the time you may be there, or if your arm slot is more 3/4, which is going to bring that humerus out, you can see where that humerus is, pec, and then in this case it was just here, so it could be submarine, whatever. But kind of, I don't mean to say sports specific, but again, that angle kind of does matter. If we can make her stronger in those angles and able to turn it on and off, she's going to be able to. I would like to see what you're actually going to. I don't know what pop time they call it still in softball, or just.
Or do you mean just like throwing?
Just an all out, yeah. Well, I mean, do you guys clock that with your team?
Yeah, but not often at all.
Not often. Hey, you guys might want to think about doing that more often.
I know.
You could probably do it in the weight room. Just have it as a pre-lift type thing, with a plyo ball program. I don't even know if you guys do, or when you guys do it. You want to do it immediately after the off season, but
right.
Maybe just stick to your med ball stuff. And as you get closer to the in season, maybe put that in there. For your position players, just to keep them in check.
Sure. Chin ups, cluster buster.
Cluster buster. What phase though? Second phase of cluster buster, which would be CP3. What? Phase 2? Phase 3?
Something. Phase 3, I think.
Okay, so she's like on phase 3, but almost like the second part of it. And we did 3 by 3 by 3.
Total of 27 reps.
Yeah, well, 3, 6, 9, essentially 9 reps each set, and broken up into 3 reps. And she got them all, so she got 27. When was the last time you did 27 chin-ups total?
Never
in her life. So there you go, volume PR.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was like, damn, like I can do this now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a regular
it's working.
Part, I mean.
It's working. Yeah.
Yeah, that CP3, and again, it's kind of like one of those things where you chip away, boom, you break ground, and then that ground you break, you keep it for a little while. Then you chip away, boom, and then the next level comes.
Yeah.
Then that's going to bring you to what for CP3?
I think
3 by 4.
3 by 4.
Oh, I guess I did.
Maybe, I don't know. That's kind of.
Or we go 3 by 4 by 3.
3 by 4.
So instead of 3 clusters, there's 4 clusters in it.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Even if it's like.
What about we go back to
3 3 3 1.
3 3 3. Oh, I get what you're saying. Adding
1 or 3 3 3 2 or 3 3 3 whatever. But the intent would be like, so instead of 9 reps a set or 12 reps broken up into 3, you would do 12 reps broken up 4 times. That makes sense.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You can also do it like that.
Do that way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But anyways, yep, that was the second one. And flywheel side bend. I threw that in there just to get some trunk, and then really it's like no other body part to really work for like a high speed upper body, I guess, unless it was. I think we're doing plate stuff on plate drops or plate throws on the other day. We might be. No, we didn't because we did it today. We got to put that in there possibly. But anyway, just side bend, get some trunk work in, and she liked doing it last time. So again, give them what they like a little bit, and then
saw that on Yoakum's page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it for that.
What do you got written down?
I was just doing some the grip hammer curls.
Oh, okay.
Just at the end, I did 2 sets of 20.
So
just for fun.
Inconsequential work. It's just good stuff.
And then today, so we have
reactive bench throw with the
bench press throw.
We use the Smith machine we have here at the gym. I'm a little unfamiliar with it. I'm familiar with Smith machines in general, but this one was a little bit different because it had a huge counterbalance where the bar basically weighed nothing.
No, basically, yeah.
So when the intent of today for the reactive was to drop the bar essentially on her. She catches it, rebounds up and returns it with a bench throw. So it's kind of like a bench throw with a drop preceding it, and then each one it's just dropped in, right? Depending on what height she pressed it to. This one, I think the counterbalance was so much.
It was a lot.
Right, it had trouble getting a real true speedy pace. So I may change that up somehow.
Well, what are you thinking?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I may just do the one where I hold on to the bar or put reverse bands on the bar, so it kind of keeps it in a track.
Figure it out.
But yeah, we'll figure it out. We may change it up, we may not. But anyway, she still got the effect out of it. You'll probably see it on the videos.
Yep.
And we paired that with the single arm row, rebound style, single arm row. Hold it at the top, separate, boom, and go. So
Yep.
again, a huge accentuated eccentric, especially out of that bottom. I guess in DB it would be the there was those two joint angles.
CGA.
Not the critical joint angle. It would have been the other one.
CM.
Oh, the prime.
No.
Prime anatomical position. That's what it is. So she was out of, that boom when you're in a row, so it's about halfway. This one's a little bit in the bottom, and then pulling it back up. So
I like that one.
Yeah, somewhat catching in that prime anatomical position. And again, that's going to be your strongest position. And believe it or not, it's very reminiscent of, I know, very controversial. I don't really adhere to the principles. I'm just aware of them. But the Joel Seedman 90-90.
Oh yeah.
Right, which is kind of true. You're going to be in the strongest position 90-90 no matter what, whether you're pushing or pulling. It's probably very true. But the critical joint, and not the critical joint, but the prime anatomical position is going to, in DB's language, is going to be very reflective or reminiscent of that. I'm not saying they're exactly alike, or maybe the thought process might be a little bit different, but just know you're probably going to be at your strongest in terms of isometrically, probably is what they're using for that, not necessarily dynamically.
All right, let's talk about that stupid shit you put together. No, it was tough. So the
30 on, 30 off oscillatory circuit, RFI. You had a little note that says "fuck this."
Yeah, that was tough.
RFI tramp run. So essentially, she's hands on the trampoline, and she's
what does RFI stand for again?
Reflexive firing isometric.
Oh, I knew it was reflexive firing, and then I was like, "What's the last word?"
Isometric, because it's essentially isometric in nature because there's very little joint angle.
Yeah, that was tough. So I had to go kneeling on that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll get better.
Yep,
I'll get better at it.
And again, just kind of like in that halfway push-up position, it looks like she's just trying to run on her hands.
Yeah. So again, we did these three exercises, technically 5, because if you want to count one
we
arm,
split the arms.
Yeah, because
and then the torso in this case. Give her some more torso work, which was great.
Tight. Yeah, I was very pumped after like my core and my upper back.
Well, if you think
everything
about
was
the trunk is the connection from the upper and lower body. And that main connector piece is going to be the lat. And to an extent, the psoas will go up there into that middle spine, so into that diaphragm breathing. So at a certain point in time, the body's all connected, and you got to train it as such.
We did 30 on, 30 off.
30 and 30 off the tramp run, and then we did rear delt raises, and we did you can do different postures. You'll see in the videos. So you did just a basic straight on, almost like a hinge posture, trying to get her torso parallel with the floor, kind of leaning over like you would see in the bottom of an RDL. Then put her in a split stance just to kind of challenge her stability a little bit.
Yeah, that one was I did pretty good at that one. Yep. It was tough. Like all
awkward.
Of this was like work awkward, capacity. All of it was.
Yep. But anyway, she's just dropping the dump. And we used a 2-pound dumbbell for that. So not people were looking like, what is that for? It's like, well, I explained it like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. But both arms on that. And then she did the plate drop Russian twists, which she's in a regular reclining back and a glute ham Russian twist, dropping the plate, boom, and her body is pulling down to go get the plate. She's using that rebound, that reflex from her body to come back up to the top position there. But if you look at the dynamics of that, yes, it's trunk, but also as soon as that plate's being let go, and then your hands have to, there's going to be a co-contraction of your all the muscles in your hands, your wrists, your biceps,
I was about to say,
triceps,
my upper
your
body
shoulders, your pecs, your rear delts, everything, or lats are right into the trunk as well. Yeah. So it's very, if you're gonna, handle a bat or a hockey stick or some sort of implement where you're swinging and hitting the shit. What's that, hurling, where they take it looks like hockey and they hit it and they almost kill each other. That called hurling or curling?
Curling. I was like hurling,
yeah,
like hurl,
like don't know what the hell.
Throwing up.
Yeah,
so.
But yeah, anytime there's hands on an implement and you got people talk about trunk rotation, well, you better damn well use the rest of your body if you wanted to apply in some extent.
True. Yeah. Yeah. So we did those 30 on, 30 off. Took about 15 minutes? 3 times. No, that's less. 12 minutes. Yeah, 12 minutes, I think.
30 on, 30 off is a minute. So you did you did 3 sets of 5 movements. That's 15.
Oh, 15 hours, right? Okay, so
Jesus Christ.
I'm not math, but so 15 minutes, but that was
Well,
intense.
fuck, I mean, you're not math. How the hell are you going to train drop-offs of people?
Oh my God.
Jesus.
I got calculators. No, but I did what's it called? Yeah, this was a tough 15 minutes. I was definitely
15 minutes of infame.
contemplating things. I was like, oh my fucking
Contemplating
God. No,
things.
I'm just being dramatic.
Oh.
No, I was fine. But like not a lot of I love to train, so not a lot of things make me want to stop. And that was one of those times like I don't want
You were
to
questioning what you were doing. Yeah.
I was
you were
like,
definitely
fuck.
like,
I was like,
but
and the long duration ISO was like those are the two things.
But that's okay because now challenge accepted, challenge conquered. Now the next time you do it, you may not. You know, it may be you may not look forward
call
to
it the
but you'll know you're capable of doing it. It's like anything else, starting anything, like even like a diet plan or something like that. Like, oh shit, I gotta fucking eat like this. Well, get through a day first, see how it is. Get through 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week, a month, 6 months, a year, and then see what happens.
Right. Yeah, and then cool. So yeah, that was day 4. We switched the days. I just thought it would be better. So and then day 3 is tomorrow with the wickets and
what do we have tomorrow?
You have reactive split squats or something you have on there.
Reactive split squats.
Yeah.
Did you write it?
I haven't written it down. No.
I think it's more like going to be the drop. I know what it is. It's the drop split.
Yeah.
It's the drop split squats with the tsunami bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's going to be very interesting. Not going to be a lot of weight. I actually had Pat using it on a regular squat. So he was doing oscillatory squat, 3 and then up.
Yeah.
He's like, this fucking thing. And he had maybe a 25 on each side, so not even 50 total pounds. But there's a little bit of a coordination effect. In this case, what you're going to do is you're basically you're going to have a base position with your feet, dropping a split and then rebound back, dropping a split and then rebound back.
Okay.
And then so that weight, when you're dropping, that weight's going to fall with the tsunami bar, and you're going to get stuck in the bottom. You got to rebound out. It's going to pop you back up, but then you got to boom, 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 boom,
be
boom.
Kind of rhythmic with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little coordination and a rhythm challenge. But
and then the
once
flies,
you get it, a fly
then,
what?
No, like just like we got flies tomorrow.
Fly sprints, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm excited for flywheel RDLs I saw in there. That'll be fun.
Flywheel RDL, okay. Yeah, flywheel RDL, that'll be fun.
And then I don't know what else, but we'll
might go one leg with that. We'll see.
Oh.
Or kickstand style. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
We'll see what happens there. There's probably got to be There's probably some other stuff out there.
Yeah, there are some other stuff, but I can't exactly remember what it is. Oh yeah, we'll do broad jumps tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see that. What was your best broad jump so far?
Best broad jump.
72.
72. My broad jump's good actually. I'm proud of my broad jump. Let's see. So for which one? So
standing long jump or broad?
Well, this is what we have for red band was 87.
Oh, okay. So you should. Well, what's the other? What's the regular?
I don't know. We haven't tested it.
What do you mean?
We haven't been doing them.
You're supposed to do both on that day.
No, we do that with the triple broad jump.
Oh, the triple. Okay.
So my triple has been like
7 feet.
7
There's yards, 7.25 yards. Okay.
Yeah, I put it in yards, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's.
I probably can get around like
I forgot
90 plus to 100 or something. I wouldn't be surprised because like 87 for the red band.
Well, let's do the triple jumps for a while,
right? And then
see where they go.
Yeah.
See where that takes us, and see if you don't get a better number on the single.
Okay.
Because I think what'll happen is with the triple jump, because what you're doing is trying to accumulate the energy from each one. That first one tends to get more aggressive, so you can get off and use it.
Yeah.
When you get a longer target, so
cool.
That should just ingrain a more powerful takeoff. Just a guess, but.
Okay, cool. All right. Anything else? No.
Not
All
really.
right. Cool. Work hard always.
Oh, ran hard always.